So, let's see if this is any different. I'm still calibrating the recording settings. So last one I had microphone boost activated so you could hear me better, but I think you could probably hear the buzzing as well from background noise. So we're going to change it again and see if this is any different. Increase the volume of the game as well. And in this one we have Jagged Appliance for the Silent Noob, one of the first ones. Or at least one of the first games. And I don't think... Oh wait, no, we're going to see it's a difference already. Jagged going to probably be greedy and take 2-1 with his comm, and then get the engineer to build the mechs to go to the Hydro. Silent just going to get all 4 mechs with his comm, go to the Hydro, so neither using the Grace Chariot build. Just engineers, no early aggression from either player would appear. Nah, just early mole. Whoops, didn't mean to click that at all. Anyway. Everyone goes for Hydro, generate 3 or 4 PR generators, an air factory, then you can walk to the ledge. The things people do, attack move, go from the factory to reclaim here, there's reclaim 1, 2, 3. You can manual reclaim if you want, but there's a lot of reclaim on this map. Tiny rocks, tiny rocks, tiny rocks. This map lends itself to both aggression and eco. There's enough reclaim that you can just eco your heart out, but at the same time it's very, very profitable and relatively easy to deny your opponent's, or I would like to say, horizontal expansion. Your opponent's furthest expansion. And we already have a Mantis out for Silent. Bomber for Silent. And there is actually no air factory up yet for Jagged. So we'll see what this can do, but it would appear that with this mole, Jagged knows that the bomber is coming, and this one should probably be here to try and look for it as well. He saw it, wants to follow it. Did he want to follow it? Just roving in circles? He's roving in circles, so he knows there's no aggression coming here except the bomber. The scout's going to try and find the bomber so he can dodge. Will he successfully dodge though? Nope. That is unlucky. And now the bomber's going to kill another engineer. And this is what happens. If you go for the air factory before you go on the ledge, you generally have to start with a bomber. Or else you can't punish your opponent for building late air. Whereas if you go for the ledge sooner, then you have to get more aggressive over here to punish the fact that they don't have as much land. But already we see aggression, and Silent has the advantage right now because his engineers already, well, he's finished capping the mid, his other engineers at his further expansion, and there is nothing from Jagged. Something you can do is to build a transport. That will clear this up fairly quickly. But Silent actually being aggressive on the other side. He wants to secure his expansion as opposed to trying to deny his opponents. It's probably the better move because he knows he's already delayed his opponent's expansion, and so there's no real reason to shove more Mantis here because he's already achieved it with the bomber, and thus by sending it north he can secure his own expansion and deny at least these 5 mexes, which is a pretty significant amount. So he's denied his opponent's furthest expansion and his northern expansion. So actually I quite like that move. Meanwhile, Jagged busy moving to the middle with no artillery. He's going to be quite lonely there. You've got Mantis again sitting in the base. Not quite sure what purpose that serves. Maybe it defends against the drop, but most people would put it in the choke point because, well, if Silent suddenly sent a wave of Mantis north, these would be really out of position. Jagged is scouting. You'll see this, but there's no radar on the plateau. Just sneak an engineer, build it to cover this. Same with Jagged. Silent could do exactly the same. Single radar on the plateau. Like, just there. And then you can see both choke points. Alternative placements. Well, you could place it fairly back, see the rear. You could also, some people like to place them here because they're out of the way and people don't check and don't kill them. But the favourable places for the choke points you want are, if you're in silence position, to stay here so you can secure these two mexes. Same with Jagged, is to stay here so you secure these three and you can get the top two. But now both sides are going to the middle. And Silent is there first. I'm not sure if Jagged realises this, because his ACU is being very still when he could be moving in, killing the artillery. Because this will take a while, right? There's 0 point in shooting this or trying to reclaim it because nothing is happening yet. Could be moving in, killing the artillery. Silent Noob can just take artillery to the face, but nope. He's going to take everything else. Is he going to tech up? He's already got T2 mechs. You turn the speed down, and this is the problem. There is nothing defending this, where a PD could have stopped this, whereas Silent has built a PD, and thus this is relatively secure. This Mantis Force is going to be scrap, because, well, minus 16, a single engineer will deal with that. Getting artillery fire, and you can also argue there is 0 point in trying to run from Medusa shells because they're just, you know, so random. But he's down to 2,000 actually, which is really dangerous. And Silent probably could have tried to kill him, but there are reinforcements in to stop it, so he's going to be in possession of the middle. He is not ecoing though. Everything's going into spam and more spam, and now he's at Tech 2. No eco. 2 engineers out, up to Rhinos. Gonna upgrade? Don't know. Wonder what killed this. And wow, this wasn't destroyed. Okay. Silent needs to split at least two engineers, 2 Mantis off to kill these. But right now,
Commander under attack.
That attack was terminated, and I need to turn that down. My bad.
Strategic launch detected.
Jagged, being very, very peaky on 300, 400 hit points, needs to run the hell away. Like 4 bombers are a threat to him right now. He has no anti-air either. So what, he could have, if he had shot out 2, 3 jesters, that could have been a big problem, but he does have air control. But this is just running rampant. He has no control of his choke points. He does have the superior economy, because Silent isn't ecoing, but is Jagged teching at all? Okay, he's got a Tech 2 air factory. He's going to go for gunships. T2 air, try and wall off, and there's a drop in coming in from Silent. Has it been spotted? No, but that's going to be dropped in. There is a PD here, but it's not fully walled. What is contained in this? It's a Rhino and 2 Rhinos, which actually, if noticed, the PD will deal with it, because Rhinos suck versus walls. He's going to retaliate with gunships and get air control. And if Silent isn't prepared for this, he will need flak. He doesn't really see a purpose to it, as he's just been able to run all over Jagged's expansions. This should be Jagged, isn't there? This should easily be Silence, but he didn't kill it. This should also be Silence. He could wall this if he wants to, but he probably doesn't want to, purely because he has the advantage, but trying to force out Rhinos and upgrade and get the economy at the same time in severe mass stall. Pretty severe mass stall, to the point that actually it's worth pausing all your factories just to force out the economy upgrades and then keep going. But no, it's 8 PM and some people are just too lazy. In fact, I'm also too lazy to do that often. No TMD for Jagged. When he saw how early the Tech 2 was, it would be something that I would easily be very wary of. Gunships are being used to deal with these incursions. Not sure how effective it's going to be. It'll be very effective against Tech 1, but against Tech 2 it's going to take a while. More gunships. He should be using these to raid whilst he can, in order to inflict equal damage. And I'm pretty sure we'll see a response from Silent. Either more flak, Yeah, we're gonna see flak. Have flak on the field. More air factories on the way. Definitely more air factories on the way. No T2 power though. Ryan has Tech 2. What's he gonna do with that? T2? T2 PD push, TML, any of these work. There's now a fair amount of Tech 1AA, but no Medusas. Pure Mantis, no Medusas. And thus these PDs are going to completely stop this force, which is sad to see. I haven't the foggiest idea why there's Tech 2 engineer there, but oh well, free mass. Jagged trying to get air control, but flying over flak, which is a generally poor idea. He's being able to push, but having an argument with Wall PD is also a terrible idea. Gunship's not doing anything, could be sending off. He could completely suppress silence, air production if you so wish to. I suppose he could. These gunships could just go around the edges and kill things whilst he swiftly transitions into Tech 3, I suppose. And that is exactly what he's going to do. One of the very common things if you're not going to rush Tech 3 is to just go to Tech 2 air first. Put pressure, force your opponent to basically be kettled in his own base. Although it would appear that Silence having none of it because he's going to push with a superior Tech 2 which has flak in, so these gunships are now useless. If you had Corsairs on the other hand, you could snipe the flak and continue, but he needs walls, more walls to stop this whilst he still can. And so these gunships are just looking very sad, not achieving anything. Silent just happily sitting in the middle. No TML, even though all of this is vulnerable to TMLing. Yeah, no walls. This, wall, this is now all going to disappear. And he's going to lose the gunship because where is Jagged's air? Did it all disappear? No, it's just sitting down here, not doing anything. Gunships are going to... oh. Don't know what the point is. I guess from Silent's perspective, he wants to kill the gunships so that his ground attack is going to be successful, but when you have this much flak, there's no need because, well, flak saves lives. And then you saw the Corsairs trying to deal with it, and now the ACU is forced to fight, which can be very dangerous if he doesn't have the power for it. He does though, but he needs to be very careful. And you can see Silent focusing down the ACU. And Jagged should be running around behind the wall if anything. That emergency PD goes up. But lack of walls. Saw earlier on Palms, although that was a later game, Jagged does know what walls are, he's just not using them. He is, however, up to Tech 3 and he has Loyalists on the field, so that will tidy up this Tech 2 force with no problems. And, well, Silent is late to the party meanwhile. Loyalists will happily tie this up. Jagged now has a nice reclaim field. He is actually still ahead in economy. Can't be, surely. Is that just reclaim numbers? No, he has an extra 3 T2 Nexus. And while Silent has the map, this should not be allowed at all. Like, what the fuck? It's just these trivial things, but that's 2 mexes that Jagged shouldn't have. And, well, Silent was really aggressive, but not aggressive enough. Again, that push here didn't achieve anything. He could have gutted the bottom, he could have reclaimed this entire section of the map, but he chose to attack the main base, and it didn't do anything except yield a whole pile of reclaim to Jagged. Meanwhile now, he's behind in eco, he's behind in tech, and Jagged is in a really good spot right now. Bombers trying to kill build capacity to try and slow down production. And there's the TML, finally. But even that is now risky, because you can see that Jagged sees it, has a TMD going up, but this is not protected. But he can just park a single Loyalist next to it, and then TML comes over and goes straight back. Now Silent needs walls. And this is the problem when you're behind on tech and on eco. See, he's trying to eco, but he's just too slow. Relying on pretty much nothing. Meanwhile, Jagged has got large amount of Loyalists on the field, and Well, this will probably not achieve anything because the commander's sitting there. This, though, 5 loyalists is easily superior to anything that Alec can bring onto the field. The point that I'm not actually sure that loyalists are the answer here. If anything, you might have to just purely rely on a brick, but, well, Corsair comes in and deals with that, so I guess he'll be able to hold this off. And the ACU has vacated the premises, doesn't want to get trapped there, and a good thing as well, actually, because the power grid went down. And it's at this point where it's actually worth earlier on. Like, look at all these Tech 2 engineers. I refuse to believe that was intentional. 12? I mean, you have build capacity, sure, but they are mass expensive. And is there any point? Could you have been building something else? And now Jagged has mass. He's got all the mass from the reclaim. He's just going to eco behind it and just he's like stopped production. He doesn't need to. Like all of this here, he's just going to happily sit here. Still no walls, but I don't know if that was a mistake they stopped production. But this is going to go to Tech 3. I wouldn't be surprised if this went Tech 3 as well. But maybe that's why there's so much mass available, because he's not building anything. No flak with the loyalists. Means that air will be able to take this out fairly easily. Well, relatively easily. It'll take it out eventually. Assuming that Jagged doesn't. Yep, but there goes that. There's no flak in the area. Not enough interceptors to deal with this. And so his ground will be free to rampage across the map. Intel-wise, you can see that there's a complete lack of intel in the south. All of this should be silence if he was quick enough with it. I think he's trying to reclaim the Rex. He needs more economy, but I don't know where he can find it. Actually no, Silent does have air advantage, but he needs to deal with these pretty swiftly. But Jagged pulling ahead in economy, 2-1. Single brick, that'll actually deal with this if he stays at range. I don't know if Silent intends to push any further because the window is rapidly closing. He's going to try and kill as much economy as he can, I imagine. The TML's already gone, but the brick will tidy this up with no problems. This, he could kill these two. It depends whether he walks into the PD or not. I don't think he scouted it, so I think he might just walk into the PD. Yeah, that's one way to completely throw away everything you own, is walk into PDs, but he sees it, walks away. He doesn't know what's down here, he has no idea these are T2 mexes. And so that's going to die. And right now I don't see a way back for Silent, who was in a good position early on, but overinvested at turn T2. Not capitalizing on it, not taking the map, and just not ecoing. And so he had the advantage early on. Jagged just ecoed, held his nerve. And now looks like he's going to romp home to victory. There are SAMs in place because he knows he doesn't have air, wants to stay safe. His comm is now in the mode of, this is mine to win, and this is my game to lose, so he's just going to stay under shields and SAMs. No T2 radar from Jagged, which is a bit of a shame. Oh, did he just finish one? He just finished one! There we go, I knew he wouldn't disappoint me. And he's going to shield it. So Zoc is happy, TA is happy, I'm relatively happy, but there's no T3 mech, so I guess that's not gonna happen. No ringing. And this is why I would have just gone straight for bricks, but it was hard to say. Jagged has an overwhelming economic advantage. He's trying to catch up, but you can see now, right? One brick, 5 loyalists, the loyalists will win because numbers. And just walking them in at a time. Like assault bots, support defenses, and you use loyalists if you can be aggressive, but after a while you have enough bricks, loyalists will become obsolete. No. That should not be allowed to happen, as the Air Force is literally sitting right there. But it's like one of the few ways that Silent could actually deal with this in a comfortable fashion is with Corsairs and air, because he has the air advantage and there's no flak involved. Just several Corsairs will happily nullify this. But if Jagged, he has the economy to just say end the game with a Monkey Lord if he so wished to do so in style. He can do whatever he wants right now. Lazy to the point where he doesn't even need to get the rest of his mexes. He's capped everything. Even this is Tech 2. All this production's upgraded. Churning out bricks for loyalists for more. I wish I could comment a bit more about this, but this is just waiting for the inevitable. Silent trying to hold on again, but no flak to deal. But it doesn't need flak, he has the air advantage. Meanwhile, Jagged has flak, and that is going to be very, very painful. Got out in time. But he's not securing his main HQ, and so the Loyalist is having a field day because the bricks are going into melee range. All this T2 build capacity, no PDs, so Jagged could literally just kill this, and that's game over for sure. Yep, that is game over. It was game over a long time ago, but once that's destroyed, that is way, way, way too late. So much T2 build power. I still believe Silent had the advantage early on. He had the earlier bomber, he had the better movement of units and the minister securing, but didn't eco. And this is why I would play this map as an ecos heavier style. It's because it pays off. Silent didn't actually keep up with the tech. I don't know, this is why the meta has changed as it is. Just ignore Tech 2 land, because Tech 3 is just so devastating to Tech 2. Especially Loyalists. But that's this one. Good game to Jagged and Silent. See you next time.